if the doubt is behind, it can be me there. I don't need your shadow shade.
Hi guys, welcome to Wamsies World. I hope you guys are having a splendid start to your week. I am thankful for all my old followers. I always like to say that because basically there would be no Wamsies World if it wasn't for my old followers. So I do want to thank you guys for supporting, liking, and subscribing, as well as my new followers. And please continue to do that. I really do appreciate it. I am really excited. I did pass my NBLEX, which was, I'm not gonna lie, like it was, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I failed it, honestly. It's like, cause like there were some questions where I was just like, I don't even know if I know this. And like, did I study? Yes, I studied like pretty consistently, but I mean, when you take the exam, it's like you just don't know what to expect because there's just so many sections. So, but I passed, and the test is, I think, 100 questions. I think it's actually an hour and 50 minutes, and I finished in 50 minutes, so I was really happy about that. So, really excited about that. And actually, like I think I don't know if some of you guys probably don't know this, but I know the people that know me know that like I have a bachelor's and master's degree. But this LMBT certificate, this certification was so that I could start my business. So that's why I had to complete it. But I did. It was really hard. Not gonna lie, it was hard. But I'm glad I did it at this age. And the reason I say that is because I don't know if I'd have the energy past this age. So I'm happy that I got it done. Lots of studying. It wasn't easy. Yeah, but I'm happy about that. I was kind of in shock. I was like, oh my God, I passed. I almost wanted to cry, but like, I don't really, the only time I cry is probably like during movies, but I don't cry in front of, I don't like to cry in front of people. But yeah, so I was happy about that. But I wanted to actually bring up a topic that I talked about, and I did get some people that like reached out to me, which is, it's nice. But I did want to talk about the topic of fibroids, because it's something that, I'll be honest, it's not something that I thought I would get. But I did. So, I think when I first heard about it, or when I first heard that I had them, I was in complete shock. And not really in complete shock, like, oh, maybe in a weird way, I thought like, oh, that wouldn't happen to me. And then also just kind of popped out of nowhere. So usually like with my periods, they would usually be like 3 days, 3 day period. Maybe one that's like a 1 day that's like very, very like I don't feel like doing anything, but it's not like I can't do anything. Like I just have maybe like more like shitty attitude or something, but it wasn't anything that stopped me from doing anything. So it was just 3 days, barely any, I barely got cramps. So that wasn't even really an issue. But then, out of nowhere, I went to the OBGYN, and then they said I have 3. So I was like, okay. Now, granted, and I think guys in life, like sometimes you just have to think about the positive of the situation. I did get 3, but the 3 are small, so it doesn't really affect my fertility, which is actually quite nice. That's how I think about it, because it could have been much worse. But that was a while back, so I do have to go get checked again, which I'm going to go get checked, I think next week or the week after that, just to check if everything is like either better or worse, whatever comes, yeah, I have to deal with it. Just to check if maybe there's any improvement or, like I said, if it got worse. So, but the great thing about it is that I know, at least for right now, that, it doesn't really affect my fertility. Although I have to say, guys, like I don't really center my life around kids and a man. Like I just don't center my life around that because I just don't, I used to do that. Like I used to do that when I was younger. And I don't really think it led me to great things. So I try my best to really like really be centered on like more of like my health and like my life and how I'm doing and how I'm progressing and stuff like that. But I don't think I like to center my life around kids. Man, I have to get this. I have to get that. Like that's just not. I think culturally, like I was set to like think that way, but I just feel like I'm kind of like outside the matrix. Like I think a lot differently than I used to when I was younger. And that sometimes just comes with growth. So basically, when I got the diagnosis, I was like, okay, the first thing that came to my mind is like, how? Like, how? Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. Um, but I had to like dig back. I had to think about a series of events. So when I was in Dallas, I was good. Didn't have anything. I was good. Perfect. Everything's good. When I got my pap smear, everything's great, whatever. When I moved back to NC, I got laid off from my job. And then I had to go back to the office, which I despise doing. But then around the same time that I had to go back to the office, my mom, she had that incident where the truck like actually like bumped her while she was walking, like, and we were with her. And so already that like mental stress of that situation of like my mom almost dying. So it was kind of like all of that together. It was just high stress moments. And then, just having to deal with, like, I'll be honest with you guys, I hate small talk. I hate having to deal with people in the office and be like, hey, how's your day going? How's your coffee? How's your dogs? I don't give a fuck. Like, I really just want to go do my job and then, like, leave and then do it and hang out with my peoples. I don't really care about anybody. Like, if you're not my friend, I really just don't care, So that was really stressful for me, in many ways. Which, for some people might be like, I don't see how that's stressful, but it was stressful for me. I had to go to the office. I took a major pay cut, because it's like my previous job was paying pretty well. But then when I got laid off just out of the blue, it's like that job was like a good support system. So when that went away and then I had to work at a company, not a bad company, but they weren't paying. They were paying me barely anything. So it was like I had to deal with that. It was just a drag and it was depressing. And I think at that time, then dealing with the thing with my mom, I think it was just like all of that combined. I went to the OBGYN a little after that, and then boom, 3 fibroids. So I don't know. Like, I feel like my body doesn't do well with high stress moments. I think it just doesn't do well with that. But at the same time, it's like, can you really avoid that in life? There's no cure for that, because it's like, you have to, like, that's what's given to you in life. Like, you just have to deal. But I think maybe the key is like, how do you go about dealing? And so I think that's something I have to discover is, how can you go about dealing with high stress? Just being a Black woman in this country sucks hot ass. It's just every day it's something, especially with this regime. It's just every day it's something. And that's why I try to stay off like the news or whatever. Even though I'm one of those people that love to like read the news and everything like that. But if you start doing it so consistently, like it starts getting to you. So you're like, this isn't healthy. But yeah, but I am still shocked. Well, not really shocked in 2026 that they don't actually have a cure for this. But I understand the I work in the pharmaceutical industry. I understand why they do these things where they pretend where they don't have a cure. It's because, they want you to come back to the hospital. They want you to get the medication. They want you to get the procedures done. That's really what it is. It has nothing to do with that they can't find a cure. And they don't see it as important. Just like they don't really see in the United States, they don't see female health as important. It's just not a priority. I don't know whether it will ever become a priority, because I just don't think they give a fuck. Because this is a man's world. Essentially, that's what it is. Well, I'll say this. It's a old white man's world. Then when I think about it, they don't even give a shit about old white men. So they don't give a shit about the senior citizens. So I guess in a sense, no, we're just in a fucked up world. Like, I don't know. That's all I can say. Yeah, but I just hope maybe one day they find like a non-painful, non-invasive way of removing them. Like that would be great. And I have looked at like things, but even my mom was telling me, she's like, if it's not affecting you with your fertility or anything like that, then you should not remove them. Just wait till you have a kid or whatever, and then remove them. If I decide to do that. So yeah. But I would say for right now, I have found ways to manage my fibroids. It did take a little research and time. And the only time they actually affect me is when I have my periods. Like I don't feel them when I'm, just in my regular day. When I don't have my period, I don't feel them or anything, and that's a blessing too. And I recognize that. I can say I'm blessed in that way because I know it could be much worse. Like I usually just have one day during my period, like when I'm in excruciating pain. I remember feeling it for the first time when I went to Orlando to visit family. And I remember being on the train and I was like, what the hell is fucking going on? Like I felt like ripping out my freaking, I don't even know, like my hair. Like I was like, what is this? Painful. And I just couldn't tolerate it. Like I had to take, and luckily I had painkillers. So I just took some painkillers and it went away, but it was so painful. I almost felt like I was going delirious. The only time I ever felt that kind of pain, like where I felt like I was going delirious, was when I had pneumonia, because it's like someone's just like stabbing you in the back with a knife. It's just so painful. I think pneumonia made me a little bit tolerant to pain because, and I got that a long time ago when I was in middle school and I had to be out of school. But that was probably the most painful experience or I had ever gone through. But like in that time I was delirious. Like I was just like, woof. But I'll say that's the first time I felt it. I was on the train to Orlando, train back from Orlando visiting family. And it was horrible. But I decided also, like, and I'll talk about this later in other videos, but I don't like taking painkillers. I don't think that's good for you. So, and it's bad for your liver. So I just decided, okay, I gotta find a way to do it where I'm not affecting my health. So I'll show you guys the products. I'll show you guys what I use when I have my period. It's and I might have talked about it in another video, but I'm going to just talk about it again. But it's like, that's how I manage my, like, 1 or 2 days that I have this excruciating pain. But I'll talk about that later. And I'll share, like, management tips in the next videos and stuff like that. I will say, guys, like, this topic is very, very sensitive for me. Like, I was even like, I'm never going to talk about this. They'll never know. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? The point of my YouTube show was just to help, like to give people advice and to give them help. And like the only way I can do that is by sharing my experiences and how I go about dealing with them. It's not easy, but like I realize in life, you always find a way. Somehow, some way, you find a way. And that's how I did it. And it did take me some time to like find out, and it's not perfect. What works for me may not work for you. And that's just the thing about it. It's like, you can incorporate some of the stuff that I do tell you, but if it doesn't work for you, just try and find your way, But I did want to share that with you guys. I do like how women are becoming more vocal about these things. I feel like, possibly in an older generation, I would say it was like taboo to talk about this stuff, but it's like, why the fuck is it taboo? I mean, it's normal. It's like, it's, and it's not something you should be ashamed about. It's not something you should feel bad about. It's like, it's your body. It's your body. Like, why the fuck do you feel like you can't talk about that? And and it's not like my culture is an inviting place to talk about these things. It's not. I mean, let's be honest. And I don't think men help either. Like, I don't think they've ever helped when it comes to the female health. Like they've never been like, I think that's why women probably hide those things. It's like, oh, I don't want to feel inadequate as a woman. But it's like, that's when I feel like it's very male centered in a way. I think health is very male centered. But yeah, that's another story for another day. But I just wanted to share this snippet with you guys today. We'll talk about more topics in the other videos. It's not that every video is going to be about, fibroids. It's not that. It's not like every video is going to be about that. But I did want to, start bringing that up so that when it pops up in a video, you'll be like, oh, okay, let's get back to that topic. But yeah, it sucks. It's not something that like I'm like, woo, I'm excited to talk about, but like, I mean, I have to talk about it because I do feel like there's some people that, they live in the dark. They can't talk about that with, either, or don't have a group to talk about that with. And I don't know. I just want to be somebody's support system if they're having issues with that. And yeah, but anyway, like I said, I'll share more topics in other videos, and advice. And I just want to, thank you guys for liking, subscribing, commenting. Thanks for listening to my SoundCloud music and everything. But I just want you guys to stay woke, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys next week. I don't know what I'm talking about next week, but it could be the same topic or it could be something else. But when I get to next week, I'll figure it out. All right, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
They said I couldn't do it, no way, no how. Laughed at my dreams, but look at me now. I'm climbing high where the air is red. Left the doubt is behind.